we get into this first game of losers finals, I'm honestly excited to see how this match will go. The Kremlin Crew King versus the King of Dreamland, 15% already and going to FD. And it seems like this is going to be a very interesting set because both characters, once again, we're going to be seeing heavy characters go at it again with both of them in the respected classes of weight, with King K. Rool having the second heaviest weight and Dedede being the third, if I'm correct. So honestly, I can't wait to see how this one's going to go. 74% of damage to 35. Both characters are just going back and forth with each other.
So I'm back now, my apologies. But it seems that we're on FD now, which I think is a really interesting pick because I feel like this might be a more slanted stage towards Dedede, especially with all of the amazing juggling tools you have, like up air, which as we saw last set won in multiple stocks because of how well he can mix up the DI.
Ooh, that down throw into up smash is just so good for KingRoBo, allowing him to solidify a kill rather than going for up tilt or F tilt.
Seems like all of the momentum he had coming from winners is still here. It's not letting up.
Oh, definitely. Being able to get his crown back in that situation, even with the inhale, and relying on that nair to keep him safe from that fair, but only for one time, as the second fair was able to take out that first stock.
Oh, and his up throw up air combo is messed up by the crown. That's good awareness from KingRoBo knowing it was coming, so he played a little bit more defensive, knowing that he would be saved by it.
Oh, definitely. Ooh. Yeah, and with that up B, it allows K. Rool to be a bit safer when it comes to getting back to stage. Harder to 2-frame since that up B has a hitbox on the top.
Definitely. It makes it a little bit harder because one of the main ways that Dedede wants to deal with you sitting on ledge is he'll want to dash attack. But if K. Rool knows that's coming and then drop down up B, for example, it means that he won't be getting hit by the dash attack, which allows him to ledge plank a little bit longer. It makes it harder for Dedede to push his advantage in, which is his main strength as a character.
Yep. 116 to 131 now. Both characters are at kill percent and pretty close to even at this point. 134, and getting hit by that F tilt's going to send K. Rool back off stage, missing the ledge just by a little bit. Ooh, getting hit by the crown once again. Smart awareness by Drewtwo to set up that kind of trap by throwing up the crown like that.
Yeah. For the up air off ledge and up tilts, that's really, really good plays on Drewtwo's part. Also, one thing I really like that Drewtwo's doing that I don't think a lot of people do against item characters is he realizes that he doesn't want to have the crown in his own hand because it's less effective to use with Dedede than K. Rool, but he doesn't want K. Rool to have it himself, so he throws it up, which sets like a 3 or 4 second period where neither person can use the crown, which gives Dedede advantage in neutral.
Wow, that's an amazing tactic to use, and smart awareness by Drewtwo, realizing that, hey, I'm not going to have to use this crown at the moment, so let me just throw it up in the air like you said. Works perfectly, and we see that right now the disadvantage state that KingRoBo is in is a little bit difficult for him to get out of with the incredible frame traps that Drewtwo keeps throwing out. Is not allowing K. Rool to get back on stage, and even now, he still doesn't have his crown back.
Yeah, I think one thing that'll be really useful in this matchup that we just saw a few seconds ago was he abused the fact that if you are standing at closer to neutral get of distance, King Dedede F tilt will scoop bigger hurt boxes when rolling, which is really good to use for ledge trapping.
Wow. Incredible call out with the jump with the back air is going to allow Drewtwo to solidify game 1.
I really like the way Drewtwo is playing. The past few sets, he's been trying to play a little bit more aggressive and has been getting a little bit messed up for it, like what happened versus him on Yoshi's story against Horchata, and what happened for him the first few games versus Whack. But I think the past 2 games he played with Whack, in this game, he's learned that if he just takes it slower and baits out more options instead of trying to push advantage and push for a kill, he can keep his advantage state longer because of how long range Dedede's attacks are. And that's what he's been doing. It's working out really well for him.
Yeah. The constant adaptation that's coming out from both players really goes to show how fast you can really change up your playstyle within just one single tournament. And we're seeing PS2 as the second stage of the losers finals. Yep, both players just going at it one after another, 44% of damage to just 10%. But the whole goal of Drewtwo right now is just to keep a Rool closer to the ledge, make sure that he doesn't actually stay on neutral ground, and possibly take advantage and a kill.
There's really good neutral on both ends. Both characters have the goal if they want to throw out a projectile to make their approaches more safe and get in, and it seems like both characters are doing that well. It's just that at the moment Drewtwo is pushing his advantage state when he gets it way more than KingRoBo is.
Definitely, and that inhale is really being a lifesaver in this set. Just the fact that K-Rool doesn't really have much of an option in that situation. Getting hit by the full up air is going to cause the first stock of KingRoBo to be taken out.
I really like the way that Drewtwo is anti-airing him now. The past 2 kills he's gotten have both been anti-airs with a back or an up air respectively. And it's really good because it allows him to get way earlier kills than he was getting before and forces grounded approaches, which Dedede deals with very well.
Ooh, what incredible awareness. Getting the back hit, the return hit of Crown into up air, almost solidifying that first stock. And KingRoBo is not at a bad deficit, 55% to Drewtwo 0 on his second stock actually. Yep, 44% to 87. Both doing fairly well, just going at it with each other, throwing out their cannonballs and Gordos, making sure that none of them take too much damage.
That's actually really good to know. If you hit Dedede up air onto K-Rool Nair armor, only the first 2 will get super armor. That's really going to be really useful later in the set when Drewtwo's trying to kill while juggling, because that means he doesn't have to respect it as much as other characters would.
Wow. Incredible awareness by Drewtwo to use side B once again, as he realized that KingRoBo was going to reflect the Gordo once more. Ooh.
That was very good.
Yeah, great weight by Drewtwo to allow for the dash attack to actually come into effect.
It seems like KingRoBo likes to pick lots of aggressive options off ledge to deal with Gordos, like jump, drop down, jump, nair, or get up attack, or drop down up B. And Drewtwo's taking really good advantage of that by like buffering new side Bs to hit it back and stuff like that. I'm enjoying watching.
Great mash out by Drewtwo to save his second stock from getting hit by the up smash. 151% of damage. Blunderbuss suction should be able to kill at this percent.
He should be able to get a kill with a lot of things. I think the problem is though is that with K-Rool, unless you're hitting an up air, which is a very high commitment, your aerials aren't going to be killing a lot when you're like going anti-air with air to air with someone, and Drewtwo knows that, so he's jumping and mixing up his air timing a lot.
Yeah, once again, both are at last stock situations, and jeez, yeah, like you said earlier, the up air only being able to protect the nair only being able to protect K-Rool for the first hit.
Drewtwo's playing very solid. I just hope that he doesn't get a little too nervous trying to get this kill and then let himself die very early. But right now, he seems like he's doing fine. He's taking it slow. Not going for anything too aggressive, but pressuring just enough to keep KingRoBo on his toes.
Yep. With the amazing edge guarding that's coming out from Drewtwo, really goes to show what kind of practice he's really gone through in order to solidify this kind of play style and catching that roll.
That's very good. He knew that KingRoBo had been picking aggressive options off ledge almost the whole time during that game, and then realized once he's at high percent he would be scared because he didn't want to lose the game and it would roll, and reacted and up tilt it. Very good play. Yep.
The game is now 2-1. I mean 2-0 in Drewtwo's favor.
Seems like KingRoBo is a solo K-Rool, so we probably won't be seeing a counter pick, but it just seems very hard for K-Rool to keep up here, especially with how well Drewtwo is mixing up approaching, and he knows very well when to stay behind and abuse K-Rool's lacking approach options and when to go in to push his advantage state.
Yeah, overall just doing such a great job, but seems like there's not going to be a stage switch or character switch. Both going to stick with their tried and true characters.
I don't even think there's a fatal flaw in KingRoBo's gameplay that is hurting him very hard in this matchup. I just think that Drewtwo is just playing slightly better. This is a problem because there's not something you can just stop doing to fix it. You just have to thoroughly start out playing him even more, which Drewtwo is also adapting at the same time, so it's very hard to keep up.
Yeah, just trying to utilize everything in his kit, and so far it's working fairly well in his favor. 69% of damage to now 32. Just both characters are just trying their very best to see what kind of openings they can make, weaving in and out of each and every one of their projectiles, reflecting it or just hitting it back at them.
That's a good example of what I was talking about. KingRoBo knew that Drewtwo was trying to land with a back air and went for an up air, but because of how slow the move is, he just gets beaten out. Really unfortunate. Maybe one thing that would be helpful is you can start doing parries and trying to punish with F tilts or grab and try to go for down throw up smash. That might help a lot.
Yeah.
Most of Dedede stuff is safe, but it is not extremely safe. So if you parry, you'll more than likely get a punish.
120, now 139 to 147. Once again, same situation as previous, as Rool is sent off stage to be edge guarded once more, and this time he doesn't have his trusted crown to help him back, as he gets hit by it once more by Drewtwo with his incredible edge guarding going well.
Yeah, one thing that's really good for KingRoBo here is that Dedede does not have any super great kill throws. Like, he can kill with them, but they're not like consistent, whereas Rool does, so it makes it way more potent to shield as Drewtwo than it will as KingRoBo.
Yeah. Yeah. Catching him with the fair is going to only allow him to take about 4% of damage, but both characters are at pretty low percents and doing fairly well. Nothing too dangerous at the moment. 69% to 30%.
This match seems to be going way slower than the past two. The other two were kind of, both of them trying to get a good approach and then just going in and pushing advantage state as hard as possible. Whereas now it seems like they both realize that if they approach, they will end up losing a lot if they do a bad approach, so they're taking it back.
Yeah.
Even
a little bit of a miss. Sorry, you were saying?
I was like, even here too, you can see KingRoBo is less trying to stay on ledge and more trying to be proactive in getting back on stage or reset neutral, like doing things like jump air dodge and jump nair at a disadvantage against Dedede.
Yeah, and it seems to be working out somewhat fairly well, catching some of those empty hops that are coming out from Drewtwo, but has to be more consistent about it, otherwise this could be his tournament stock.
Yep. It does not seem like Drewtwo's going to play shaky at all when he's about to win the set. He's just going to stick to his game plan, and he's going to make sure that KingRoBo can't bring it back.
Wow. Incredible awareness coming out. Getting hit by that hitbox of the up B to connect it into the up air. Really useful on KingRoBo's part. And right now, he's still trying to figure out a way to get back on stage with these constant barrages of Gordos and edge guarding. And it's just being so much of a hindrance to his game plan.
Yeah. And that's a really good setup by Drewtwo. They've actually never seen. Oh.
Once again.
And well, I guess now we will be seeing Drewtwo Enhanced Grand Finals. It would be really interesting to see because I've actually never really seen Cloud Dedede be played that often. So I'm interested on how Drewtwo will play it and what's his take on it. Or maybe we'll see a Min, because Min traditionally does well versus Sword.